Hey girl, sit tight, don't mind the chaos, and just vibe. Hi besties.
What is up, besties? It is your host, Zoe, and I am back with another freaking episode. I did Overshare podcast today. How are you doing, my love bugs? I hope August has been great for you guys so far. And if it hasn't, well, Lord, I hope it gets better for y'all. Okay? I really do. Did I say? Sometimes I question if I'm getting an accent from being in North Carolina too much. There's just a lot of subtle things that change because I'm gonna be honest, I've never been like a formal speaker because that's just not how it is where I'm from. And I'm gonna be honest, I call everybody ma'am now. Yeah, ma'am. Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Have a blessed day. Like it should my environment's really affecting me, okay? And sometimes I wonder if I'm getting a little twang in some of the words I say. Maybe I'm tweaking, but who knows? But I hope you guys are doing good. If you are new to this podcast, let you know this is a fucking roller coaster, a crazy one, but it's worth it and it's really fun. And once you get on, you can't get off. All right? And if you're not new, well, what the fuck is up? We're another day, another sleigh in here like swimwear, okay? And if you need anything, have any questions about anything, it'll be down below in the show notes when it comes to links to social medias, when it comes to resources, when it comes to articles I read that I use, throughout this. Everything will be down below. So definitely do that. And also, if you want to hear your own story, whether it be ranting, it be your love drama, whatever it may be, click down below and email didoversharepodcast@gmail.com and leave it in the subject line that this is a story and just send me a story. And we do have little segments where it's did y'all overshare, and I collect a whole bunch of your guys' messages and we overshare together. Right? And if you guys do end up enjoying this episode, I ask that you please leave a 5-star rating. They help the podcast so much, and a review. I read all of your guys' reviews. They warm my heart. I am so blessed to have such a sweet group of people that support me, and I love you guys so much. And last thing I want to get into, I'm going to have I'm not going to call it a series, but maybe a segment. It's going to be bonus episodes only, so you can only get them if you are subscribed through Apple and or Spotify. The other platforms I have don't really use them yet, but they will be available on Apple and Spotify, and it's kind of where I do bigger deep dives of things that I'm kind of interested in. And I don't know if it's going to be coming out tomorrow or Thursday, but it's going to be one where I'm talking about, do we think it's fate or do we think free will? What is it? Because in a college class I once had, I contradicted myself a lot, and it made me really think, well, damn, how do I really feel? And what do I really think? And because there's so many different new perspectives and so many ways to think. So yeah, I just wanted to throw that in there. If you guys, I really enjoy it, but if you guys want to listen, definitely subscribe. I think it is $3.99 a month. And if not, you can pay $34.99 for the whole year, which great deal to me. And you get great episodes, new extra content that's just for you, ad-free, and all that fun stuff. Yeah. So what is today's episode, you might ask? Today's episode is It Bothered Me, but It Doesn't Define Me. Clock it. Let's give a minute of silence while I pick up my pen. Thanks. So I had this topic written out, a while ago when I was scheduling, but it's a topic that I haven't chose yet just because I was still ruminating on it and kind of thinking about everything I wanted to do. And then I encountered a few situations. And like I said, I feel like my podcast episodes are so aligned with my personal life. It always ends up matching up the week. I'll go through something that directs to my podcast episode that I was going to do. So this one is It Bothered Me, but It Doesn't Define Me. And I'm going to link a Substack article down below. It was about the art of detachment. And that article was so beautifully written. And it gave me so much more insight and more depth on how I can approach this topic. So I'll leave it down below. And I also do quote some of their pieces and messages that they had in there. So yeah, there's that as well. And I want to say the first quote because I want to get the premise out there before we get into it. I want you to sit with this and I want you to think about it. So they had said, to be detached is not to stop feeling. It is to feel deeply without drowning, to love without possession, to work without making your worth dependent on the outcome, to understand that everything in life, people, success, I can't read my own writing right there. Praise, even happiness, is temporary by nature. And this quote stood out to me so much because I think it is so important in life that we understand that we must remain where our feet are and not really where our head is. And I think a lot of the time I'm usually stuck in my head and I don't really realize what's kind of happening in front of me. And what I mean by this is so much happens to us in life. Like, it's life, right? But I think so much of the external world, we let it dictate our life. You know, whether that be someone making a face at you, someone saying a mean comment, someone just having an opinion about you, work didn't go good, you didn't get the promotion, whatever it may be, life's always going to occur. But I think a lot of the times as humans, in our ego as well, I think we take everything personal. But we also, a lot of the times, let it define our character. At least I know I have in the past. And I've definitely met people who will let somebody say something about them and they think it defines their whole character. Like, for example, what if someone called you a hoe, right? Like, let's say it's high school, somebody called you a hoe. A lot of the people, like, if somebody called you that, a lot of people I've seen will genuinely internalize that. Or if someone, I remember for me, I used to, like, if somebody said I talk too much, I internalized that. I made that, like, it defined me. In my head, it made me a bad person. It made me annoying. It made me this. And I dwelled on it. I sat on it. And we can't do that, right? But that goes to say that it's okay to say it bothered you. It's okay to feel it. Like I said, you never want to get into a thing where you're like, okay, they said that, but whatever, I'm not going to think about it. It's okay to admit that it hurt you. It's okay to say, hey, that kind of fucked me up. And I hate that they said that, but it's also on the other end, when that does happen, you need to concur it with, hey, but that's not me. That doesn't affect my character. That doesn't show who I truly am on the inside, right? So how can we learn, grow, and adapt from this? And so something else I was mentioned, it was like life prioritizes movement. And for me, this hit really deep for me because life does prioritize movement. You can't remain stagnant in anything, whether that be an emotion, a thought, or anything. Life is going to happen no matter what. How are you going to follow it? How are you going to pick up the pace? And in my head, I love to say things can't hit a moving target, right? Some of these comments can't hit a moving target because I hear you. It might have bothered me, but I'm still going. I still got stuff to do. Let's say it is like a promotion you didn't get. That doesn't define you. That doesn't mean you're a bad worker. That doesn't mean you suck. That doesn't mean someone else is better than you. Yada, 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 yada. That means you need to keep moving. You need to keep going. But a lot of the times as human and as empaths and everything like that, we sit and we dwell. And we can't. We can't do that. Because like I said, life is going to move with or without you. Are you going to hop on the train or are you not? What are you going to do? Right? Pick up your feet and keep going. Don't let somebody's comment, don't let your ego, don't let whatever it is get in the way of that. Because I think that's why a lot of times we see people when they get into old age, right? A lot of the times I run into older people who, when you get to talking to them, when you start to asking them questions, you often hear answers that kind of resemble really minuscule things that have impacted their entire lives, whether it be they were 30 years old and someone told them they couldn't do a work project, or they didn't get this raise so they never tried again, or someone told them that they were this and it defined them so much that they never became anything other than that because they truly believed that they were that, right? And that's why it's so serious to not let things define you because, like I said, life will keep going regardless. So are you going to sit there and are you going to take that to the chin and be like, well, damn, this is me. There is no better. This is it. You know, I guess this one person said, I'm like this, so I'm like this. This one person said I couldn't do this job, so I'm just not going to do it. You can't let things other people say define your character because what somebody else has going on has nothing to do with you, and it shouldn't have anything to do with you. A lot of people have their own demons that they're fighting, and a lot of the times they'll try to project them onto you, and you have to be here enough to understand that, hey, this has nothing to do with me. This does not define my character. I understand they may be going through this. This don't got shit to do with me, and you need to exit. You need to exit and you need to learn And if, you know, I'm going to be honest, and sometimes things really do suck. Some things, when people say, they really do hurt, and it might push you back a little bit. But you have to get in that cycle of learning how to pick yourself back up. On learning to understand that don't got shit to do with you. A lot of the times it's other people's projections. Like I said, life prioritizes movement. A lot of times you think you got it, or you know it all. And you think you've grown, you've done everything, blah, 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 blah. And in turn, it makes us think that we get punished for a lot of stuff we go through, whether that be someone's funky ass comment or whatever it may be. A lot of the times we think, well, damn, am I being punished in this way? Hey, did I not get this promotion because, like, I'm not deserving or I'm a bad person? Like, what is it? We think too literal and too deep about shit. Sometimes shit just doesn't work out. And that's okay. But also sometimes you might need to be on a new path. Sometimes you might need to try again. Sometimes you might not have all the skill you need for a job. You can't take that personal. All you can do is grow. So we really need to put a fine line on where we're like, hey, what can I control? What can I not control? Because you know what you can't control? Other people's opinions, what other people think about you, what other people say about you. If you tried getting that raise 4 times and your boss just is giving it to somebody else, find a new damn job. Like I said, life will keep moving regardless. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? And that's not me being literal. That's not me being like, oh my gosh, plan out your life. No. But it does mean take those steps. Don't sit there and dwell in those words from somebody else. Okay, so like I said, you've been denied from this offer 4 times. You can sit there and you can stay at that job for 20 more years. I know so many people who have been like stuck in a retail job for 40 years. And for some people, they like that. But some people do chase a high that they never will get because maybe they have skills that are needed somewhere else. Same with people in the medical field. Sometimes you don't need to be in the medical field. Sometimes your soul is really calling you to be an artist, girl. And I know this sounds crazy, but a lot of the times we think we're supposed to be living a certain way. We think we're supposed to have a certain life, or we take in what somebody else told us and we think that needs to apply to us. Hey, well, they've been at this job for 20 years and, you know, they've climbed all the way up in the market. They're all in corporate now. They're in HR, you know, and they're speaking life into you and saying, well, I want you to take this position. I want you to be a new me. I had this happen to me. I had a boss who wanted me in her position so bad. And she was like, I'm preparing you for this. I'm preparing you for this. And in my heart, I knew that's not what I wanted to do. But for so long, I stayed because I'm like, well, this is a higher position. Like, would I be ruining my life if I just left? You know? And then I have other voices also telling me, well, I don't think you're prepared for this. I don't think you can do that. Blah, 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 blah. All of that shit bothered me. All of it bothered me when it came to the decisions, when it came to the comments, when it came to everything. But I didn't let it define me. I had to sit back and define myself. Zoe, what do you want? What journey do you want to take? And I quit that job and I've been full-time doing my podcast ever since. And I had to do that because I wasted, not to say wasted, I think it was a very vital 2 years of my life, but I spent 2 years of my life thinking I should be chasing something because other people told me to, because the comments I got from other people, because the comments I've gotten about my podcast, hey, when I first started my podcast, well, why are you doing that? Nobody's going to listen, blah, blah, blah. I could have let that define me. It bothered the fuck out of me. I'm not going to lie. It bothered me because I knew I could do it, but I didn't let it define me. Like I said, life is going to keep going. I could have sat there and I could still be at that job. I could still be at that job. I could still be in the same place I was, same people, same lessons, same experiences, same feelings that were harbored, but I'm not. Because like I said, life is going to move with or without you. Do you want to be sitting here when you're 70 and you're still getting bothered by what somebody told you at 20? What somebody told you at 15? What somebody told you at 45? No, your journey is never too late. I don't care how old you are. You can start when you're 70. You can start when you're 60, when you're 50, when you're 40. It's never too late. But you need to let go of those attachments and those ideologies that you've gotten from other people. Like I said, it's okay to let stuff bother you, but you cannot dwell and ruminate on things for that long. You got to give things a time period. You got to you got to be a little stern and be like, okay, I'm going to be upset for this for a couple of days, but this don't got shit to do with me. I know what I can do and I know what I can be. And if I got to fail 1,000 times and get back up, that's what I'm going to do. Right? But we sit and we dwell and we care so much about what other people think. Why? And I know that's easier said than done, right? Because I'm asking, like, why do we care? Why do we care? But people are fucking mean. And a lot of the times it might be the people we care about that say some fuck shit to us. It might be. But you have to still understand that these are other people and their feelings. And in my head, like I say, if I wouldn't want to be you, I'm not taking advice from you. I'm not valuing your opinion. You can call me anything, but if I don't want to be you, I'm really not going to take it to the head. I'm not. Because the fuck do I got to listen to you for? And so, like I said, a lot of times we think life's punishing us. When life gets hard, when you lose a friend or death happens, we try to allow it to define us. We allow a death to define. Like I know a lot of people who have allowed a death of a family member to define them for 10 plus years. And that's not me telling you how to grieve. Ever. Grief does not have a time limit, and grief does not pick and choose who the fuck it targets. That's not what I'm saying. But I think it does get to a point when you use, like, let's say, for example, you use somebody's death as an excuse to why you are in life, like why you are where you are in life. Hey, I just can't get past this. Okay, babe, this is your life. Pick yourself back up. You're not dead yet. You're not. You're not. And I know this might hurt to hear. And I know there are people out there who are still actively grieving, and it's been years and you can't get over it, whether it be the loss of a parent, a cousin, a best friend, a sister, or a child. You have to remember your feet are still on the ground. You're still here. Are you going to sit here and you're going to hit 70 and you're going to be like, damn, I wasted my whole life just mourning, just existing, not chasing to be more, not trying to get better? If you need a therapist, find a therapist. If you need to cry for a month straight, not leave the house, not do anything, get fat, do it. Do it. Do it. But avoiding it and just thinking about it and letting it be and not going anywhere from it will destroy you. Like I said, we can't view it as life is punishing us, because, like I said, life happens to everybody. Death happens. Horrible things happen to everybody. But the difference is with the people who keep moving and the people who let that situation define them. They can't define you. And the people that love you, the people who may have passed and love you, they don't want that for you either. They want you to find what your soul is craving, what you want, not what you think they want you to live like. Let's say it was a parent that, you lost. You can't focus on, well, how did they want me to live my life? Because that could still, not to say be wrong, but it still could have nothing to do with you. A lot of the times our parents may have wishes for us that we don't internally want. And a lot of time when death does happen, we hold that guilt, that hope. Maybe I wasn't living how they wanted me to. Maybe I wasn't doing something that they wanted me to. You can't do that. You can allow that death to bother you. You can allow it to kill pieces inside of you. But you must rebuild. You must not let that define you. And I know I'm talking about death, but I hope that applies with everything when it comes to comments, when it comes to friends, when it comes to jobs, when it comes to anything. You cannot let these situations define you, because, like I said, life is still moving. The days are still going. Time has no end. You are still going. So where are you going to go? Are you still going to be here in 20 years, still sitting in the same spot, same job, same life, still sad? Are you? And like I said, I know it's easier said than done. I know there's people listening. I've been through it where you have just sat there and just bead. But like I said, you have to pull yourself out. You have to put a time limit on it. Do not let situations define you, because they don't. This is your life. It's not anybody else's. Get up. Get up. And those people will be clapping for you behind the scenes along the way. I promise you they will. Sorry, y'all. I also have another quote that I really liked. It says, "A detached person still dreams, still loves, still hopes, but they do not lose themselves when things change. Their peace is no longer rented from external circumstances. Someone saying something mean shouldn't ruin you, define you, or keep you caged in your ego. Take nothing personal." And that ties in with everything I said. And a lot of times we view detachment as a bad thing. I'm gonna be honest, Michi's a very detached person. And for so long I was just like, well, why don't you care? And it was never that he didn't care. And I'm just now understanding that. Understand, we have been together 8 years and I'm just now understanding that. Because I've been totally opposite. I get fully consumed in everything I do. When it comes to friendships, when it comes to jobs, when it comes to emotions, ideas, death, whatever it may be, I've always let things define me. And I've always let that emotion just take over. And I've always just let the ego just go. Right? But like it said, they still dream, they still love, and they still have hopes, but they don't lose themselves along the way. You have to understand, this is how you can catch it. When that death does happen, do you lose yourself completely? When you didn't get that raise, did you lose yourself completely? When you lost your best friend, did you lose yourself completely? And it would be inhumane to say that that doesn't happen, right? Because everybody goes through that. Yes, I'm acknowledging that, but I also need you to know you can't live like that forever. You cannot place all of your apples into one basket, and then the second that basket takes taken away, you're falling apart. That can't happen. It's unhealthy and it's toxic to yourself, to your own soul, to your own path and journey in life. It's literally self-sabotage, right? Because also you have to think about, not to put it in that way, but in some situations, would they give a fuck like you would? Are all their apples in that basket? No, because some people, they got a couple apples in that basket, and you might be a really good friend. You might be a really good daughter. You might be a really good worker. But if they lose you, they still got themselves. And they're like, okay, well, I can look for more. I can expand. This really does suck, but I'm whole enough to know I will find it again. I will run into greatness again. I will find another blessing. I will find another journey. I will find another path, another boss. Whatever it may be. Understand, a lot of the time it is our ego. Our ego is hurt. Our ego doesn't want to let stuff go. Our ego just fucking gets in the way of everything, okay? And you're probably going to go through multiple ego deaths in your lifetime. I'm going to be honest, 21 feels like a humiliation ritual. I don't know if it's supposed to be like this, but this is quite literally beginnings of the 20-somethings. So I'm just holding on for the ride, okay? But I have known my ego and my emotions have driven the whole ride until this point, until 21. They have driven my life forever. And I told it no. I can't, because now I'm able to be a detached person who still dreams, who still loves, who still hopes, but they do not lose themselves. I've had 3 miscarriages. I've picked myself up and found myself again and again and again. And I will continue to do that throughout my life when it comes to any situation, when it comes to any job offer, when it comes to a car, when it comes to a house, when it comes to a fiance, a boyfriend, a friend, a sister, family. Because I've had to learn that no matter what, it's me in this life. It's me. This is my life. I'm not going to sit here and dwell. Right? And I've learned so much in the past, 8 months about myself, actually. And none of it was peaches and creams. I had to understand that there were a lot of demons I had that I didn't bring to the surface. And I think for me, my ego always got in the way, because I always understood, well, Zoe, you're such a nice person. You're such a good person. I thought life was attacking me. I'm going to be honest. I thought I was getting punished for something, because I'm like, I'm such a good person. Well, why do I have horrible friends that do this? Why do I have some horrible family? Why do I meet some bad people? Why do these bad things happen? Life is happening for you, not at you. Understand that. But also understand that that's my ego speaking. That is my ego speaking. I can't take any of that personal, because guess what? I also have to own up the roles I've played in that. Why are people treating me like this? Bitch, because you never stood up for yourself. Why are they talking to you like this? Because you let them. Because you've let them 1 time, 2 times. Why are you unhappy at this job? Because you knew you were unhappy and you still stayed. And you still stayed because you're like, well, maybe I don't want to hurt the others. I don't want to, I don't want to go through the awkward confrontations, and I don't want to do this. I also had to hold myself accountable. I think because I thought I wasn't doing anything damning, I wasn't being an evil person, I wasn't being mean, that I played no part in my life. That's not the case. These past 8 months have been strictly shadow work. Me picking through my demons, me understanding, well, why is this happening to me? What am I enabling to where this is happening? Why do I let everything define me? Why do I hold everything to the chest? Why? I had to figure that out, and I had to sit with that. So like I said, if you need to be depressed, if you need to do that for a minute, sit with your demons. Sit with them. They're yours. You have to understand them, or else you're going to blame everybody else for stuff that you also have a part in. And you can't do that. You can't, because that's how you lose friends. That's how you do that. I've cut off recently so many people. People I've known my whole life. Because I've gotten to a point where I got to see my actions and things, but I also have to be vigilant to other people's actions. I've gotten very good at pattern recognition. And when you start to not let things define you, you'll get very, very versed in pattern recognition, dare I say. And you have to choose yourself. You have to choose yourself. And it might be something that you thought you wanted for so long. You thought was great for so long, but it wasn't, right? What are you going to do? Don't let it define you. Allow yourself to still love. Allow yourself to still grieve. Allow yourself to still feel and exist, but allow yourself to still dream. It's okay if you had a dream and the dream didn't work out. Find another dream. Your life doesn't end because of your age. There's no time limit on anything, but also maturity comes into it. And one of the biggest things, I'm going to make a whole episode about this. Maturity has no age. Somebody could be, I've met 40-year-olds and 35-year-olds and whatever the fuck it be that are fucking like a 5-year-old. Genuinely, when it comes to brain, conversation, communication, anything, a fucking 5-year-old. And I always thought, well, I thought they were older. I thought they have it together. No, it doesn't matter. Just like growth has no age, maturity has no age, death has no age, nothing in life does. Everything depends on you and what route you want to take, how much you want to grow, how much you want to expand in your life. Because like I said, we can't dwell. We can't let situations define us. We can't view the world as happening to us, Things happen for us and it might seem extremely shitty in the moment, but I'll tell you, your blessings will come. They will come. Everything I've ever been through, all I reap is blessings. But throughout these blessings, I also still encounter menti issues. Why did I say many like that? Menti? Okay, period. Anyway, I have encountered still so many things. So I would get to a point, I thought, I would always say like, oh, I've learned my lesson, I've done this. And then the situation would arise again. Not to say it was a test, but maybe another thing would come up in the exact same form, in the exact same way. The devil just changed faces. It changed identities. It changed forms, but it still showed up. How did I handle it? And a lot of the times I still handled it the exact same way. So it was like, did you really heal, Zoe? Did you put yourself there? Or are you still letting the situation define you? You're still letting these emotions take over you and own you and consume you. You can't do it. Like I said, that devil will show up in many different disguises and it will keep repeating until you understand what the fuck is going on. Now, like I said, that pattern recognition, I don't care if I've known you for 10 years. I caught it. You're cut. You're cut because I knew what kind of place that put me in. I knew what kind of pain that put me in. I've experienced it and I'm choosing myself and I'm not letting a certain relationship, certain years, certain love define it. I can't put all my apples into one basket no more. I have to understand that, hey, growth is going to happen regardless. I promise you good will come if you invest in yourself. If you pick yourself up and you keep believing, if you keep going, and there will be bumps along the way. There will be times when you're like, damn, I thought it was good. Here we are again, right? I've hit that point many, many times. But guess what? As long as you keep choosing yourself, blessings will choose you. Promise you. Promise you. The spot I'm in right now, I've never been so blessed in my life. And there's still things that fall apart every day. Every day. But guess what? I don't fall apart. Girl, my fucking car got towed. Not to put my business out there, but I had a flat fucking tire. And mind you, in the apartment I live in, I pay for. He was just being an asshole. It's okay. We got it. Cool. But either way, when that happened, I was in such a great mood that day. And then I came outside and I said, what the fuck? What the fuck? And if it was me in any other past, I would have been like, oh my gosh, it's a sign. Something's wrong. Oh my God, I'm a failure. And I would have sat with that for a minute. And I know it's not even that big, but I would have. You're going to still run into shit. Like I said, life is going to happen regardless. Death happens regardless. You could be having an amazing life. You think everything's healing. And then a death happens. But do you get destroyed when it happens? When something bad happens, when a hiccup happens, when a financial issue happens, do you let it define you? If you do, how can you learn not to? How can we prepare ourselves to take in information better, to learn better, to understand ourselves better, and not abandon our ego throughout the way? Because I think a lot of times, especially when I'm speaking, but also just reading things and understanding things, we view the ego as a negative thing. The ego can be a very, very good thing if we allow it to be. If we know how to grow and learn and manage our ego. Your ego is not always this bad thing that's getting in the way, that's ruining relationships and everything. It builds relationship. It is that thing that networks. It's that thing that grounds you and understands you. You just have to learn how to manage it. You have to learn how to balance your ego, to understand what's going on, and to ground yourself, essentially. Essentially, it's all grounding. You have to. I made a Substack post, and it was kind of just talking about how no matter how many times I might lose myself, I will always find my way back. I always can bring her back to here. I can always bring her back to here, and I'm so blessed to be able to say that. There's not been one time where I've lost myself and haven't brought her back. I can allow myself to feel. I can allow myself to go through things. I can allow myself to have pain. But guess what? I find myself. I find my way back to my soul, my purpose, my love, what I want to do, things that make me happy. Even if it starts by slow. You know, sometimes I'll be in the slums. You know what gets me out? And I know this is stupid, but a good slutty mafia romance book. I hate to say it. I downloaded Wattpad again, y'all. Like 2 months ago. I did. And now I'm writing a book again. Like, sometimes you have to find yourself, and that might be in old ways. You know, it might be in old ways. It might be in something you did 10 years ago. That's okay. You have to understand you love certain things for a reason. And no matter how cliche it is, or no matter how small it is, sometimes you need to go back to it. Whether it be painting, or you used to sketch, or you used to journal, or you used to sing, or, you know, you want to take this new job just because you need a little life. You want to be a florist for a minute, whatever it may be. Sometimes you need to go back and allow yourself to just be. You know, I think a lot of times we're just too hard on ourselves. Extremely. We don't always have to grind and go get it. Grind and go get it is also allowing yourself to know when to rest. Is also allowing yourself to know when, hey, I need to calm down. I need to find something. I need to play the game. Or I need to do this. Because I'm going to be honest, I played Siege all the time. You know, I'm not even that fucking good. But Siege takes me out of my head. And I understand that. So sometimes you just need to find something that takes you out of your head. It doesn't need to be, I think a lot of the time, especially in this time of day, we're all grind, hustle, go get it. Grind, hustle, go get it. But you got to understand, you're going to be like this. You're just going to hit a wall. You're going to hit a wall. You're going to hit a wall. You're going to hit a blockage. You're going to hit a wall. If all you are is grind, hustle, and go get it. Because you have to understand there's balance. There is time when you need to rest, time when you need to relax, time when you need to love yourself and pour into yourself. But that also is how you balance your ego. That's also how you learn to not let things define you. You need to find you. And then nothing can define you. Nothing anybody says can attack your character. It can hurt and shit can suck and be like, damn, I loved you so much. How could you say that to me? But guess what? I know who I am. That doesn't bother me no more. Right? So yeah. That was today's episode. I hope you guys liked it. It was way longer than I expected it to be. I did not expect a 40-minute episode, but I hope you guys enjoyed it and I hope you guys loved it. Sorry if I sound like nasally. I don't know. But I love you guys so much and I hope you have a blessed August. I'll see you next Tuesday, but also don't forget, buy that subscribers only for bonus episodes, no ads, everything like that. And I love you guys so much. I just hope you have a blessed day and please leave a 5-star rating and review and everything down below. Please follow all the Did I Overshare social medias, whether it be TikTok, Instagram, my personal ZOEEXEE. I love you guys so much. And if you have any questions, email me, DM me, do whatever you need to do. I love you guys so much. Bye.